Randy,
Yeah.
it's 8-8, man. 8822.
8822.
Yep.
Hey.
Wait a minute. That's too much physical work for me.
Football's around the corner.
Oh,
so is school, by the way. Back to school is later this month, too. And so all that goes with that. Wow. Summer's just flying by. But
do I have to go to Walmart and all those places and get pencils and backpacks?
You can. Also, you can go to Goodwill. We've got all kinds of specials going on and whatnot. So, but yeah, if you're so inclined, not just our Goodwill, but all Goodwills. I mean, it's a great place, especially with inflation as it is. And do you really need to buy everything new? And maybe you don't, maybe you do. It's up to you. But there are other options out there.
I'm not buying Elmer's school glue anymore. I'm just going to give them regular old Elmer's glue.
Teddy, I'm sure there's a joke in here somewhere, but in kindergarten, they used to have this white paste that you could take on like a wooden spoon. And I used to eat that stuff.
Yeah.
And
that
then they
explains a lot.
I was going to say, but then they changed the formula and the glue didn't taste very good after. I think they knew because kids were like ingesting this paste.
So anyway, you had to add sugar?
I didn't care, man. It was really, really good. It probably had plenty of sugar in it. So for what it's worth, but Randy Wooden with Goodwill Industries, Northwest North Carolina, back again with Teddy Burriss on another Monday. Talk about some tips and some stories that have kind of crossed our paths over the years. And also we'll talk a little bit about our upcoming guests, plural, 2 guests. Yeah. So we'll get to that. But first, Teddy, if you would introduce yourself.
Yeah. So those who've never met me, I'm Teddy. I'm a LinkedIn strategist. I teach LinkedIn Sales Navigator as business tools. Also building a new division and a whole nother YouTube channel on teaching Google Workspaces business tools and have a lot of fun with that. I help organizations, a lot of B2B space, but also get pulled into community colleges, universities, and even, heck, Randy, I don't know if I told you, man, I helped the ladies start a church on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube.
Did you really?
Yeah, man, it was a whole lot of fun. She's loving it. So they're business tools. You learn how to use them, and I love to teach them. But every week, Randy and I get together a couple different times and make a little bit of noise and share a few ideas. And one of Randy's job description updates that we did about 3 or 4 months ago is he is now responsible for crack journalistic research. And Randy, share with us what you found, buddy.
Absolutely. We do births and deaths and famous events on this date. And usually there's a little trivia component to it. So put your thinking cap on, Teddy. And if you're watching us, play along at home. Okay. So on this date, let's see. This will be August the 8th. And there were 4 births. 2 of them are famous people still alive. Dustin Hoffman, actor. Okay. 1937. Roger Federer. 1981.
This dude.
I remember 1981. But this guy's got at least 20 Grand Slam singles titles.
81? Good golly, he's a kid.
I know it. I mean, I have T-shirts from it. Anyway. Here are 2 of them you don't know. A guy named Bob Smith. Bob Smith, all right, born on this date, 1879, co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Oh, why did he co-found that? Maybe he had a need or an interest to help others.
That could well be. And then also on this date in 1861, a guy named William Bateson was born, and he originated genetics, whatever that means.
Practice, maybe the whole science behind it.
I don't know, but anyway, that's what it said. He originated. He coined the phrase, apparently, and off and running.
Hey, Randy, I know why.
Yeah.
When he was growing up, he kept looking at his father and going, "I don't look anything like him." Ooh. And he wanted to figure out why, and maybe he figured it out.
So he originated maybe just the term genetics, but anyway, so we'll give him credit for something. Anyway, his name is William Bateson. Deaths on this date: Leonardo da Vinci, born, I don't know when he was born, but he died in 1519 on this date. Joseph McCarthy, famous U.S. senator, probably infamous, maybe more the thought here on that. He was the one that went out hunting communists in our government. Mm-hmm. And also J. Edgar Hoover, another rather infamous folk from years ago. He was passed away on this date, 1972, the very first FBI director. Yeah. All right, Teddy, here we go. Events on this date. Osama bin Laden became fish food on this date. back in 2011. That was a big. So he died, but it was also a pretty big event because, again, we went to war with a bunch of folks over some stuff there. And so anyway, so he met his demise on this date in 2011. Also, Good Housekeeping was first published on this date, 1885. And here's a trivia question for you. Now, Teddy, I know you have a lot of gold bullion stashed away at your palatial, or maybe it was beef bouillon.
It's in the cabinet in the kitchen, dude. I can't remember what kind of bouillon it is.
Well, if it were gold bullion and you had purchased it back in 1968, it reached a high. Take a guess. Do you have any idea? I mean, even within like $200.
1968, high cost of gold. Let's say 750
an ounce. No, it was only 39.35. It was under $40 an ounce. Now, and I just checked it a couple of days ago, so it may have fluctuated, but now it's about a little bit over $1,700.
Oh, I was thinking 500, $1,700.
Yeah, an ounce. Yeah. So it went
Randy, let me go check the cabinet real quick.
It went from $40 to about $1,700 over the last, basically, almost 60 years. So you got that going for you. Anyway, quick story. We had Todd Porter on last week talking about recruiting, and it's kind of near and dear to me because I've been a recruiter, and that's how I got my start doing the kind of work that I've been doing for a long time. But I was this close, or maybe this close, to not getting that opportunity. And I'll just share that as a quick story. I had been in radio and was looking to make a change and had answered an ad, and I still have it in my file folder. I have a metal file cabinet. I still have the ad from the newspaper, Sunday's newspaper, and I had a dot matrix printer where I had printed the cover letter and had stapled it. So I had a copy of it and so forth. I still have that to this day. And a fellow named Dan Lowe, he was the brother of Richard Lowe, who started R.E. Lowe Associates up in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah. They had an opening for a recruiter at R.E. Lowe Associates. They either didn't need or didn't want me, or they made another decision. But Richard said to Dan, he says, "Hey, I've got this guy. You may want to take a look at him because, Dan, you have an opening at your place." And so I made arrangements to meet Dan in Pataskala, Ohio. Try to spell that one. All right. Pataskala. That's where the office was located, on a Sunday afternoon, maybe 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And let's just say Dan had a couple of cocktails.
Oh, come on, Randy. Back in those days, they were called brewskis.
Brewskis. He had a few brewskis over there, the meathead, right? Yeah. Anyway, so what happened was he after he'd hired me, he said, "Randy," he says, "I was this close." He said, "If I'd had another beer," he said, "I would have just called you and just made up some story." So for the want of basically a beer, I've been on this path for the last 30 years or so. And so it's kind of an interesting path, but interesting how close you can come to maybe not having pursued that simply because some guy just wanted to have another beer. Yep. But anyway, so there you go. That's how I got my start. And one thing led to another. And so now I'm with you. How about that? Yeah. So that's the pinnacle of my life, my entire career right here with you.
Where it would have been or not been. So, hey, here's my story, dude.
All right.
Every Monday and Friday, I had these two networking groups. I have an 8 o'clock Monday and a 9 o'clock Friday that I participate in. And last Monday, I was talking to some folks, and we were talking about some of the books we read. And somebody said, "Have you read Atomic Habits?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't." And one of the other ladies said, "I can see it from my desk. It's on my shelf, but I've never read it." And then someone else talked about something, and they said, "I don't have the time to do it." And someone else said, "I know it's important for me to do." And it became that word, it. So that conversation really started wrapping around the word it. And I actually did a meme on our story on LinkedIn about it. Think about the it's in our lives. How many it's do we pay attention to that we shouldn't? How many it's do we not pay enough attention to and we should? How many it's do we have, whatever it is, that we don't use and we should learn to use or learn to use better? And it really was a fun conversation because all in our lives, Randy, it's all over the place, that we pay attention to, shouldn't pay attention to, use, don't use, whatever. And it really got us to thinking about what is the it that's important? What's the it that's not important? And what's the it that we've been ignoring? And it was just a fun day to get me thinking about what am I doing that I shouldn't be doing? I'll tell you one thing I've changed, Randy. You ready for me to tell you something I've changed to be
keep the main thing, the main thing. What is it?
Make the main thing the main thing and make all that other stuff irrelevant. I have closed down on my web browser, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Okay.
The only time I go into them, I have to purposely open it up, go do what I need to do in there, and then get the heck out. Because LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, it is not uberly important to what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
There's my story, buddy.
You didn't say anything about Tinder, though, did you?
Come on, dude. Keep some of the stuff is, I told you about it just to let you know I'm willing to experiment with new stuff, and you're going to share it publicly.
Just kidding, Teddy. Teddy's been happily married for a long, long time, but no, we joke about that.
43 years. Yeah.
That's right. Hey, we've got a couple of guests coming up this week. We have room for them, right? We have an extra seat at the table, I think.
We had to go to the producers and get some more money, but don't worry about that. Right. Rebecca and Keith Scott, and the name of their company is Tall Small, and you'll understand what Tall Small is all about. And by the way, their brand is really important to them, and you'll understand that on Wednesday as well. Rebecca and Keith Scott will join us. They're going to talk about the title's called Unstuck. And what that's going to mean is, how to get unstuck from public speaking, how to get unstuck from storytelling, how to get to the point where you could tell a story and not have a script, how you can talk about something that's important to you and not have a script. So Rebecca and Keith Scott, the company is Tall Small Productions, are going to join us, and it'll be a fun conversation. They're good people. I really enjoyed my conversation with them, and I believe you will as well. So
great.
Cool.
Right.
11:55 a.m. every Wednesday, including this Wednesday, the 10th.
The 10th.
Go find the URL, hunt down Randy or I. You'll find the URL for you to register and join us. So,
yeah. Hey, got a quick tip for you, and this is something that I don't know. I guess you would think that you wouldn't need to remind people of this, but then again, we're human and we tend to put things off until we need to do it. You name it, whether it's life choices,
whatever
health choices, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I've had several clients over the last, I'm going to say, month or two. And anyway, long story short is, oh my goodness, I need a resume yesterday. Oh my goodness, I need to get on LinkedIn yesterday. And I know you've said in the past, don't wait till you're thirsty to dig your well.
Yeah. And
what I'm seeing is that people aren't listening to you.
Again.
But yeah, I mean, it's human nature. We get in that, what I'll call comfortable rut, and we just keep chugging along but you know what, the sad part is that not in all cases, but in a number of cases, these are people who have said that they've been somewhat of a job hunter already. And I'm thinking, if you've been a job hunter, but yet you don't have your resume up to date, you're not working on your LinkedIn. I mean, are you kidding yourself? Because at some point now it's pulling all-nighter, essentially. I've got to get a resume out real quick. And I think what you're doing is you put more stress on yourself. Yeah. I talk about having margins and building cushions into your life to where you're not forced to make that instant pivot and probably do it incorrectly. So whether it's your work life or it's your finances and other things in life, I mean, there's a recession that's you're not guaranteed to come, but the tea leaves are kind of pointing that way. So we're seeing a lot of companies cutting back on hiring freezes, layoffs, that kind of a thing. So we're seeing more and more of that. So just be aware that stuff's coming down the pike and do your best to be ready for it. Doesn't mean it won't hurt you. You can still get sunburn, but at least try to put on sunscreen, at least try to prepare for things and not get caught unprepared.
I'm with you, man.
Yep.
I'm with you.
Yep.
What kind of tea leaves do you use? Green tea or black tea?
Tobacco leaves. I don't know.
There's that. Yeah. All right. Here's my tip.
Yeah.
was I made this mistake, Randy.
Uh-oh.
Be careful when using copy and paste. At the very least, it could be embarrassing. It could be the destructive action that eliminates the opportunity for a conversation or whatever you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Just this couple mornings ago, I'm trying to help a lady get into conversations with people at Amazon and Canva and Google and Salesforce.com and about 6 or 7 different companies. And I know a bunch of different people at these companies. So I'm sending them messages, asking them if I can introduce them. And after I sent 4 or 5 of them out, I noticed that I'd used the name of the company twice. And when I use copy and paste, I'd only change the name once. And so I had to send a follow-up message and very tail between legs, I say, please forgive my sloppiness. I did not mean to be rude to you in my messaging. So be careful when using copy and paste.
Definitely. Definitely.
Cool. All right, buddy. You have a good Monday, and I will see you on Wednesday with Rebecca and Keith Scott, and we'll make some more people happy.
Let's do it. All right. You have a good week.
See you later.
All right, man.
Bye.